calling for early diagnosis and treatment of cases as the Gambia continues to strengthen efforts to curb the prevalence of TB-related diseases. Ominjai, GRTS.
From there, we'll take our first break. Stay tuned.
Under the distinguished patronage of His Excellency the President, Sir Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya AJJ Jame, the Gambia Radio and Television Services Staff Association is organizing a fundraising gala dinner and dance with the renowned Senegalese superstar Titi. Yes, it's Titi live in the Gambia, courtesy of the Staff Association of the National Friday, May 23rd, 2014 is the mega gala dinner at the Benjamin Hall, Paradise Suites Hotel, commencing at 8 p.m. Platinum table, $60,000, diamond gold table, $1,000, and individual tickets, $1,000. May 24, 2014 is the Grand Suites Hotel, 8 p.m. Tickets, $300. Surprise Gambian artist.
Welcome back. Thousands of demonstrators, mainly former slaves, have taken to the streets of the Mauritanian capital Nouakchott, demanding their political and socio-economic rights. The demonstrators, who account for 20% of Mauritania's population, want the same rights accorded to their compatriots. Details in this CFI report.
All ethnic origins were demonstrating in the streets of Nouakchott. The march was for advancing the case of the Haratines, the former slaves who make up some 20% of the country's population. It was a peaceful demonstration to celebrate the first anniversary of the Haratine Manifesto. This document was signed by a number of well-known people calling for political and socio-economic rights for the Haratines who have faced long-term discrimination.
We are the children of this country. We have no other choice. So we have the right to live the same lives as our fellow countrymen without discrimination.
The march was marked by mixing between former slave owners and freed slaves. There were also slogans criticizing the wrongs committed against the Haratines. The gathering also had support from many politicians who participated.
Our Haratin brothers must be integrated socially. This is definitely linked to the question of poverty.
But not all Haratines agreed with the demonstration. The president of the IRA, an anti-slavery NGO, Biram Ul Da, is the holder of a UN Prize for Human Rights, and he was boycotting. He criticized the Manifesto Organizing Committee for allegedly bending to government conditions.
Opposition forces and civil society organizations have denounced supporters of the incumbent President Denis Sassou Nguesso for supporting his bid for a third presidential mandate. The constitution bans the Congolese president, who has already served 2 terms, from seeking another term. We have more in this CFI report.
It is considered to be the stronghold of the Congolese opposition. Until the beginning of 2000s, all the men gathered in this room had taken up arms to fight against the regime of President Sassou Nguesso, who returned to power in 1997 after a deadly civil war. Over the weekend, the government minister was present to warm up the crowd.
Are you ready to change the Constitution?
Changing the Constitution to allow the outgoing president, who has reached the age limit, to seek a third term that the current Constitution does not allow him to.
There is no reason for an official document which recognizes the right of every citizen to be elected and re-elected to be replaced by another document which limits these rights due to the number of terms served or due to age. I think there's a problem.
Congolese civil society and opposition forces denounce what they see as a grotesque move orchestrated by the regime.
All these manipulations really have one goal, allowing the president to run for a third term, which is not allowed by law and is banned by the Constitution. The Constitution even goes further to ban the revision of this measure. The president is elected for 2 terms and he is no longer eligible. He has already served his 2 terms and must accept the consequences.
The regime's supporters are determined. They are calling on the population to get mobilized to make sure the president has the possibility to run for a 3rd term in the 2016 presidential elections.
An explosion at a state-owned refinery located on the outskirts of the Ghanaian capital, Accra, has killed at least 1 person and destroyed 3 buildings. And United Nations Human Rights Chief Navi Pillay has accused the South Sudanese government and rebels loyal to the former vice president of recruiting 900 child soldiers. For more of these stories and others, we turn to the CFI report.
Salva Kiir and rebel leader Riek Machar on Tuesday. Navi Pillay was surprised by the apparent lack of concern on the part of South Sudan's leaders in the face of a threat of famine for hundreds of thousands of people. Navi Pillay also condemned the recruitment of 9,000 child soldiers by both the government and rebels. In Ghana, an explosion in an oil refinery took place Tuesday on the outskirts of the capital and left at least 1 person dead. 3 buildings were destroyed. The state-owned refinery was shut down for annual maintenance at the time of the explosion. French President François Hollande hosted a visit from Tunisia's Prime Minister Mehdi Diouma Tuesday. The 2 leaders discussed security in Tunisia's south, new investments, and the organization of elections in Tunisia at the end of this year. Mehdi Diouma invited French businesses to invest in Tunisia, presenting his country as an excellent foothold for opportunities in Arab and African countries. There are protests in Burkina Faso's capital Ouagadougou against long-standing chronic electricity cuts. Residents in Ouagadougou find themselves facing blackouts during peak hours because of a shortage of production. The cuts, which can last up to 6 hours, are hitting residents of the capital and Burkina's 2nd largest city, Bob-Dioulasso.
This is a problem caused by bad government and bad city management. After our investigations, we cannot understand why generators are not fueled and why they don't work.
The demonstration was organized by a citizens' movement that was started by 2 performers who say they want to sweep out the country's bad government.
We'll now take our 2nd break. Stay tuned.
Gambia dama ne pencum réew mi oote the Gambia Radio and Television Services GRTS Staff Association ci njiitali His Excellency the President Cheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh ñoo fas kene sumbu ci ngandum banquet dinner a grand dance with a difference bu fi gëj am su fi musee am sax on the 23rd of May ak on the 24th of May 2014 sa diggi penc mi xool featuring the now happening Queen of Mbalax Titi Titi saf ñepp Titi dama ne Titi bare rajaxe penca mi xool. You've never seen our estate like this before. Titi by popular demand ñëpp joy mos tolli ànd ak ay ndaanaan artiste fii ci biir réew mi. Tickets gala platinum $60,000 diamond $50,000 gold $40,000 and the individual $1,000